There is no wrong way to do most things in this life, in this world, right? No wrong way. And also, though, sometimes there can be a not best way. And today we're talking about three wrong slash maybe not best ways to read tarot.
We know that you were born magical. We know that you are intuitive, and we know that you are brimming with everyday enchantment. Here at the Sisters Enchanted, we believe in intention, we believe in intuition, and we believe in everyday magic. Welcome in to the Expedition to Soul podcast.
Welcome to today's episode of Expedition to Soul Magic Makers. I'm Sarah, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and tarot is a heart topic of ours. We've taught tarot to thousands of people, and I've been reading tarot for, oh my goodness, 23 years, 22 years. I don't know. Anyway, math. And I love it. I love it as a tool for exploration and development. We teach about it as using it as a coaching tool in one of our programs here, actually, how to ask yourself questions and coach yourself through situations and coach other people using this tool. But if you're reading tarot or you're using the cards and you find yourself wondering, like, if you're doing it right, you can't really do it wrong. But I do have three ways that I'm going to share with you today. Three sort of areas to look out for or things that might make reading tarot feel harder than it needs to be for you. Now, what are some ways that you can use tarot? Let's start there and then we'll get into our three ways um, about reading tarot wrong, air quotes. But tarot is a great exploratory tool to look at how you might be perceiving a situation in a specific way, what you're bringing to the situation. The images on tarot cards can help your mind to think of solutions that you hadn't thought of before or angles that you hadn't previously thought of. They're a great key to unlock our intuition, our higher selves. If you're a person who is psychic or has some mediumship skills, tarot can actually help unlock those and turn that doorknob for you, that key to open the door to those skills. Tarot is an amazing storytelling tool. It can help tell not only your story, but the story of other people as well if you're reading for them. So I love tarot when you just want a moment of, grounding, deepening into yourself, deepening into what is happening for you at a moment in time, deepening into your energy, the story you're telling yourself, the possible stories that lay ahead if you're not sure which action to take. What's the story around different decisions that you might make? And really, I love angling what my readings as stories because you are interpreting your tarot cards based on the information you're holding within you right now, also. And in that way, it very much is a story. All right. So in our Stay Magic magazine, it's a free magazine you can download. We can link it up for you or just reach out if you don't have a copy of it. But there is a article in there, or there's a section where people from Team Sisters Enchanted shared their cards that they chose that told the story of a micro death. And that's another way, right? It's just look at how do you interpret the stories in your life and using cards in that way, more intentionally picking the card to match the story and then looking at it in that way. So many good ways. If you don't have that magazine, be sure to reach out or grab the link and download it. It's totally free. Um, but let's get into the three ways. It's going to be a shorter episode for you today. Let's get into the three ways that you might be reading tarot wrong, and I'll give you some tips along the way as well. So, tip number one, you might be reading tarot wrong if you are trying to memorize all of the cards and get your readings right. Like if you're trying to get them correct, so to speak, or you're trying to memorize the cards. It really is a storytelling tool and a way to tap into the story you're telling yourself about what's possible right now or the story you're holding on to go with the past you experienced, right? So imagine if your favorite television show or a book or, whatever it is that you are engaging with that has a story, imagine if it constantly stopped and told you to research something, or it was constantly stopping and like inserting, did you get the point of the story correct? Are you following the storyline? It would ruin everything. It would be completely diluted. The same is true with tarot. So whenever we're stopping and we're trying to get it right, make sure our meanings are correct, like do the memorization, we're diluting the story that we can be telling ourselves. And in diluting that story, we're diluting the guidance as well, because the answers are right there. We already know them. And how we respond to the cards is telling the story we need at this point in time. Now, tarot cards do have meanings, right? And so my contention is that you do your story, you look at the cards, what do they mean to you? What is the story being played out for you? If you make the choice you're about to make, or if you let go of the past, or like whatever it is you're reading for. And then after that, look up the meanings. Get to know the cards by interacting with them. Like, what are some layers that you didn't see once you look at the meanings of the cards? And in this way, you learn by doing. You get to know the meanings by putting it into practice and actually using the cards. All right. Number 2 for how to know if you're reading tarot wrong, or one of the 3 ways I've got for you today that you might be reading tarot wrong, is doing readings every day, but taking no action. Tarot, self-help, manifestation, growth, like anything at all can quickly become sort of a distraction from actually living life and doing the things you need to do. So if you're doing readings every single day and asking questions and uncovering possibilities and information, but you're not taking any action, then it's become a distraction and it's no longer helping you. So that's why in our program, in our holistic witchery program, we actually teach a framework. We call it the 5-eye expansion spiral, to help you bring what you want into your life with intention and a predictable rhythm, so that you don't get stuck in distraction and not taking action, because that action part is part of the framework. It's part of the spiral. So if you find yourself doing readings every single day and you're just like getting more and more information, you're asking different questions, you're like spending an hour interpreting cards, but you're not taking any action, you're not seeing anything from it, you're not seeing like growth, or you're not feeling better, or you just keep doing it, then I would consider to be more mindful of, when you pull another card, why are you pulling it? Like, why aren't you taking action? And start to take that action, right? So that's another way you might be using tarot not in its most ideal sense, if you just keep doing readings, but you're not using the information that you're gaining. All right. So the third way that you might be reading tarot wrong is if you're asking everybody else to interpret your cards. Now, I got to say, I'm pretty guilty of this. I'll do a reading, or I'll pull cards, I'll take a picture, and I'll text them to my sister, Anna, who's the co-founder of Sisters Enchanted. And I'll just say, interpret in shouty caps. But I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I know myself enough to know that the reason I'm asking her to do that is because I'm hoping she has something different to say than what I'm thinking. Because I always know the answers, right? Like, I know the answers. I know what the cards are telling me. I know the story that's there, and I know my perception of a situation. And so what I am doing is hoping that my sister will tell me something different. And which is just really silly. And I know that about myself. And I'm not seriously asking for the interpretation, but I get why you would. And so when you're always asking for validation of your tarot card readings or the interpretation, right? Really, the answers are right there within you. If you're getting a reading from somebody else, that's a whole different thing. But when you're reading for yourself, really look to your answers. And then maybe if you have a friend or confidant or a coach, or somebody you work with, a therapist, and you want to say, this was my story, this is the information I got from my tarot reading, this is what I'm seeing in my life right now. Do you notice anything maybe I didn't see? Do you see any area where I might be kind of holding something back for myself, where I might be diluting something or not stepping up to my fullest? Do you see any of that? And asking for that feedback versus somebody else read the cards for me. So the 3 things that we talked about today were, number 1, trying to memorize the cards and get them right. There's really like that, just it dilutes the whole experience. It takes you away from your train of thought, all of the goodness that you're coming up with. Number 2, doing readings every day without taking any action. That is just a distraction at that point. And number 3 is asking everybody else to interpret your cards for you. Feedback is different than getting somebody else to interpret for you, right? So just be mindful of which one you're doing and, to what effect, like why you're doing it and how is it contributing or detracting from your experience in reading your cards and accessing your own inner wisdom, because you do have the answers right there within you, my friend. All right, y'all. If you want some help accessing this inner piece of you or gaining like this feeling of more connectedness so that you can even begin to step your toes into what it would feel like to trust yourself and deepen your experiences with any practice that you have, not just tarot, be sure to join our Expedition to Soul program. It starts on July 17th. We'd love to have you there. So we'll put the link where all the link places are so you can check that out and grab your free copy of the Stay Magic digital magazine. It's good for the whole summer season. There's tips for celebrating the festivals this summer, and there are prompts and journal prompts and questions and articles and discussion. It's good stuff. So I've got those two things happening. I don't want you to miss out on them. So Expedition to Soul is coming up soon, and also our Stay Magic magazine. Okay, everybody. Well, read your tarot cards. Be sure to share with us wherever you see us in our programs, if you're in the class sites, the community sites, or on social media, how your tarot reading is going for you this summer. We'd love to hear about it. And until next time, I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead.
If you liked this episode of the Expedition to Soul podcast, please rate, review, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, it will really help us spread everyday magic, intention, and intuition to the masses and helps us so much as a small business. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. There are new episodes every Tuesday and astro forecasts for the week ahead every Friday. If there's any topics you'd want to hear, anything you want us to dive deeper into, shoot us an email at magic@thesistersenchanted.com. And as always, thank you so much for listening and being part of the community here at the Sisters Enchanted. And we'll see you in the next episode.